Alright, we have finally got another new chapter of One Punch Man here today, and we are now officially within the Ninja Village arc, so get ready for exciting new twists and turns. The story will push Saitama to go down. This chapter reveals so much more information, so be sure to watch the whole video. But before we get into it, please like and subscribe, it really helps a small channel grow, and as always we will get into discussions and theories at the end. So, quickly for those who need reminding, in the last chapter the Heavenly Ninja Party meets in an abandoned building where Speeder Sound Sonic is holed up. They plot the assassination of Flashy Flash and the execution of Blast, and with their defeat, the eventual rule of the world. Meanwhile, inside the Hero Association headquarters, Blast is observing the organization's studies on victims who have turned into monsters by eating monster cells, in the hopes of discovering the secret to correcting human monsterification. They discovered that via observation, one's psychological condition is crucial, and following that, Flashy Flash questions Blast about the relationship between God and the Ninja Village. And this brings us to the recent chapter 196 of One Punch Man. It starts off back at the Hero Association building with our group we had left off previously. Flash continues to ask Blast if he knows something about the connection between God and the Ninja Village, but Blast stares at him with an almost menacing look, as if Flash shouldn't have asked that question. Manako chimes in questioning the situation, and Saitama remembers that the ninjas said something about that village previously. Flash then bluntly asks Blast if he was the one who destroyed the village, surprising Manako and Saitama, and Sitch hangs his head low, indicating he already knew the answer. And then sitting down on the bench, Blast says that he wouldn't blame him for holding a grudge, to which Flash responds that he was quite relieved. Blast then states that he's surprised Flash took so long to realize, and he must have repressed those memories. Saitama is still obviously confused about the situation. Flash soon reveals that he was raised in the Ninja Village, which was a training facility for assassins, and that it was located deep in the mountains, inaccessible due to a barrier placed by the founder, who's also known as that man. He continues and states that 9 years ago, soon after he had left the village, it was destroyed by someone, but he had no interest in who since he had abandoned it long ago. However, one thing did bother him. But god damn! Flash, don't ever let me catch you lacking. Murata just loves drawing Flashy Flash in extreme detail. Anyway, back to the story. Flash then makes a reference to that great fourth wall break back in chapter 194, saying that in those 3 panels that Saitama and King were catching Manako, he went back to check on the village to investigate what was bothering him. Whew, now the fourth wall breaking is extending to more characters other than Saitama. This is going to do wonders for power scaling. Saitama then sarcastically compliments his speed, and Manako praises him for not getting lost, to which he responds with "shut up." I think these 3 character dynamics are becoming my absolute favourite in the story so far. Originally it was Saitama and Genos who were my favourite, but Manako just bounces so well off of Saitama's personality, and they mirror each other amazingly. The scene then switches to a flashy flashback, see what I did there? And he stares up at the village and,
Stop showing me pictures of gay black dudes kissing! Stop it! It's turning me on!
and he stares up at the ruined and destroyed village, where we see large circular chunks gouged out of the building. He climbs down the large stairwell into the basement and walks through some holes that's been taken out of a huge door, to where the cube used to sit but also disappeared. He immediately remembers when him and Sonic saw it in the past. We return to the present, and Flash states that as soon as he saw the circular chunks carved out of the building, he immediately knew who it was, and then asks if Blast did it to recover the cube. But Blast doesn't answer, and Flash continues. He says thanks to Wind and Flame he was able to connect the dots, and that the facility was modelled after the cube hidden in its depths. We return to a short flashback where we see a young Flash and Sonic looking at none other than the village founder, or that man, sleeping in a recovery capsule, and says that he barely looked human. Flash again asks if it's safe to assume he was given powers by God, similar to that of Homeless Emperor and Garo. Blast then finally reveals that the man used to be his partner, and that they hunted cubes together. This uncovers that this guy, mentioned all the way back in chapter 173, was Blast's partner before founding the Ninja Village. and his name is Empty Void, the strongest ninja in the world. However, he somehow monsterized and forbade everyone from using his name, becoming only known as that man. This has some big connections with 173 that I mentioned, because in that chapter, Blast was contacted by God but refused, which was 20 years ago. Then partnered up with Empty Void to take on God, but somewhere between then and their battle 15 years ago, so within those 5 years, he must have been contacted by God himself and accepted the deal, ending up stealing a cube for himself. It's not specifically stated, but I believe he created the Ninja Village in order to protect the cube and create an army for God, who seems to have attempted this strategy a number of times. Moving on though, we get another hilarious moment where Saitama and Monako mistake Empty Void's name for being Boiled Man, and even the phrase in context could mean a fractured broken bone, as Monako states whilst reading a sudden dictionary. This moment would definitely be better if I knew a little more Japanese, but nonetheless it's still a great moment. Blast then reveals that Empty Void is the only person with the ability to open the gate of the Celestial Rock Cave, which connects to the dimension where God hides. He also states that the reason why he's been searching for a way to undo monsterization is so he can use it on Empty Void and gain access to that dimension again. Suddenly, a woman comes into the room saying they just received a letter addressed to Flashy Flash. Picking up the letter, he states that it's a letter of challenge, and we find out that it's from Sonic. It says, "That man has awakened. He's after your head. Running will do you no good. It's time to settle the score. Come to my hideout. I await you alone at the place where childish dreams are seen." Which I thought was going to be a poem, but I was pretty disappointed. Blast takes notice of the "that man has awakened" bit, and Sitch comments that it's fortuitous timing. Blast is then reminded of the past, saying it's been 15 years since Empty Void escaped from their battle, saying he could have recovered and has been waiting for the right chance to come back. Flash thinks to himself how Blast couldn't deliver the final blow and calls him a softie in his own head. While Saitama remarks how there's no way Sonic's handwriting is this good, but Flash confirms that it is in fact his handwriting, and Saitama gets offended that the letter of the challenge he got was scribbled. Flash then muses over the final passage of the letter, and he says that it appears Sonic has fallen under that man's control, and was probably forced to write this to lure him out. Which is, well, exactly right. I mean, well done Flash. You're not an S-class hero for nothing, it seems. Flash then tells Blast that this opportunity is the perfect chance to redeem himself for letting Empty Void go in the first place, and the scene switches to outside the Hero Association. He then tells Blast that he needs to take care of something and to head to the hideout before him. Blast surprisingly agrees, but questions if the address on the back of the letter is correct, and Monako comments on how dumb the ninjas are for doing that. He then asks Saitama if he's coming too, and Saitama agrees, saying he has nothing better to do. They then head off in a black hole, leaving Flash behind. Flash pauses before speeding off down the highway, thinking about the location him and Sonic went to as kids. We then move into a flashback and see both Sonic and Flash sitting in front of a fire alongside the body of a monster. Young Sonic expresses that Flash's memories of the outside before he was forced to join the village helps him stay in a good state of mind. However, Sonic was born in the Institute, forced to be a part of the training from the very beginning. He continues saying to Flash that he has a powerful soul, which means the instructors can't control him and he won't slip into being just a cog in the machine. He then reveals he has a dream for the future, that he's going to climb to the top of management and take over the village, that he'll tear down the system and create a free environment for orphans like them. Sonic then says that the assassination techniques are useless and what has true value is living life as they please. He then asks Flash for help in doing this, saying that Flash's eyes are a lot like his own, and that he's even decided on a potential spot for the new village, and Flash and Sonic both look at the map gleefully. The scene changes from the topography of the map to the mountains that Sonic was pointing at, and in that exact spot, Flash meets Sonic in a pile of rubbish. They greet each other quickly and a small smile appears on Sonic's face in regards to Flash remembering their childhood. He goes on to say that after opening up a road on the mountain, people found it a convenient way to dump their stuff, and then states it's the perfect setting for the end of a ridiculous dream. The chapter ends here as they draw their swords and face each other, and the title of the chapter is then revealed, being The Place Where Dreams End. And what a fantastic chapter! I mean, there wasn't a lot of action, but I doubt anybody really expected any. This was a great middling chapter that is setting up the conflict that takes place nearing the end of the Ninja Village arc. And I'm loving Blast's integration as well into the story. It does feel very natural, even if it differs from the webcomic.
And am I happy that Blast actually stayed silent for most of the chapter. And so he's not just a character that's meant to give massive exposition dumps just to push the plot forwards. But he's feeding us just enough information for us to know a little more about him, but not enough to ruin the air of mystery that surrounds him. Which is perfect and tells me that the way Murata is writing him means that his character is in safe hands. I also noticed that Blast said God is hiding in the other dimension, and this is way more important than I think most people believe. A lot of people originally thought that maybe something is tethering God to that dimension, and it was decisive if God was either in that dimension willingly or against his will. But Blast's statement leans more to the former, so God could have decided to hide there due to something or someone getting in his way in the past, and now he can only siphon his power in the main dimension through humans like Homeless Emperor, Garrow, and now maybe Empty Void. It also must be a very hidden away dimension that not even Blast can access with his black holes and everything, and only one super powerful being can do so. This could be similar to Phoenix Man's Phoenix Space, in which he only has access to it, but if it's anything like that, then Saitama can just punch through it with his crazy power he has. This is awesome exposition, and I hope it gets explored more in the future. But my theory for future chapters comes with some intense spoilers for the webcomic, so if you don't want to hear it, this is your major spoiler warning. Skip to this timestamp on the screen to avoid it. And now, getting into it, I believe that once Empty Void is defeated by Saitama at the end of the Ninja Village arc, Blast and Sitch could grab his unconscious body and keep it in the Hero Association building. And then, whilst the next few arcs are progressing, they will be trying to find a way to undo his monsterization. And once he's unmonsterized, our heroes will have a way to access the dimension for the future showdown with God. It might not pan out this way, but with the evidence we've got, I think it is very possible. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Overall, this chapter was incredible, and I'm just so excited to continue it. If I could guess, we're about 5 to 6 chapters away from the end of this arc. Then we have another small one and the really big one after that. So be sure to subscribe for more One Punch Man content, as I will be keeping up to date with the chapters. And now coming to the end of the video, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give it a like, it really helps the video in the algorithm, and comment down your own theories, I would love to hear it. Okay, see ya.